Kyle Larson didn't just lose a race at Iowa Speedway. He lost his cool, on live radio, in front of the world. And the person who pushed him over the edge? Not a rival, not a backmarker, it was his own teammate, Chase Elliott. What started as just another summer race turned into a full-blown Hendrick Motorsports soap opera, broadcast loud and clear through Larson's in-car radio. Fans were stunned. Broadcasters were caught off guard. And Elliott? He just kept on driving. Let's rewind. Larson came into the Iowa Corn 350 riding a wave of momentum. A strong finish at the Brickyard. A third-place qualifying spot. The number 5 looked fast, focused, and ready to fight for a win. The opening stage proved it. He stayed clean, drove smart, and wrapped it up in 6th. Then came stage 2, and everything started to fall apart. On a late restart with 25 laps to go in the segment, Larson found himself squeezed between Chase Briscoe and Chase Elliott. Elliott was charging hard, hungry for position. The two made contact. Elliott's car clipped the left front of Larson's. It didn't wreck him, but it was enough to throw Larson's handling off. You could see the frustration building in how he drove, even if he didn't say anything yet. And just 20 laps later, boom. It happened again. Another restart. Another tight battle. And this time, the contact was harder. Larson's car snapped sideways. NBC's Jeff Burton practically shouted into his mic, "I cannot believe he saved that race car." But saving it didn't change the fact that Larson was getting worn down. First, his teammate bumps him. Then the rest of the field starts leaning on him like he's just in the way. Stage 3 brought even more chaos. Christopher Bell got loose and slid into the number 5, sending Larson up toward the wall. No crash, but the damage to the car and Larson's mood was clear. The car was fading. He was slipping through the field. And when the next caution came out, that's when Kyle Larson snapped. "Fuck every single one of them!" Larson yelled into the radio. And then, moments later, even louder, even more fed up. "How much fing room do I have to leave people? I've been trying to be good to teammates, trying to be a good competitor, and it hasn't gotten me anywhere for the last fing hour." It was raw, it was emotional, and it was real. His crew chief, Cliff Daniels, tried to calm him down. "I know those guys have been hard on you, man. Vent, yell at me, then we're going to reset." But there was no resetting. Not this time. Larson was done being polite, done being patient, and most of all, done pretending like Chase Elliott hadn't just helped ruin his race. The final results? Ugly. Larson limped across the finish line in 28th, his worst finish in months. Chase Elliott? He didn't exactly dominate either, but still finished 14th, a full 14 spots ahead of Larson. And their teammate William Byron? He won the whole thing. While Larson and Elliott were playing bumper cars, Byron was driving away with the trophy. Fans online didn't hold back. Some blamed Larson for being too aggressive. Others called out Elliott for racing his teammate too hard. But nearly everyone agreed. This wasn't just a racing incident. This was something deeper. "He's getting raced the way he's raced others for years," one fan tweeted. Another piled on, "Good teammate is not in Kyle Larson's vocabulary." The memes came fast, the jokes even faster. But under all that noise was one truth that nobody could ignore. Larson and Elliott are no longer just teammates. They're rivals. And the playoffs are just around the corner. The worst part about Iowa? It didn't have to go this way. Kyle Larson didn't crash. He didn't spin. He didn't blow an engine. But somehow he still watched his race fall apart one agonizing lap at a time. Why? Because he couldn't escape the chaos. And a lot of that chaos had Chase Elliott's fingerprints all over it. From the early laps of the Iowa Corn 350, the Hendrick Motorsports teammates were stuck to each other like glue. On every restart, every corner, Larson and Elliott kept ending up side by side. Two bulls in the same pen, neither one willing to back down. The trouble really boiled over during one of those restarts, when the pack went 3 wide into a turn. Larson had the outside. Elliott took the middle. Another car dove low. Larson drifted down into Elliott's lane, maybe by accident, maybe not, and the contact was immediate. Larson's car got loose, so did Elliott's. Both nearly spun, but somehow they both held on. Larson didn't wreck, but his mood was wrecked from that moment on, and it didn't stop there. A few laps later, Larson got hammered again, this time from another driver on a restart. He was running 5th, solid position. Then, out of nowhere, bam! A heavy bump shoved him up out of the racing groove and into the slippery part of the track. He dropped like a rock, 5th to 12th in the blink of an eye. Then the caution came out, a chance to breathe, to recover. Instead, it became a meltdown. How much of **** in room do I have to leave, people? Larson snapped over the radio. I've been trying to be a good teammate, a good competitor, and it hasn't gotten me anywhere for the last hour. That wasn't just frustration, that was a message. And though he didn't name names, everyone knew who he meant. Cliff Daniels, Larson's crew chief, tried to talk him off the edge, told him to vent, to reset. But by then, it was too late. The damage wasn't just to the car, it was to the team. And that's what makes this whole thing so dangerous. Larson and Elliott aren't rookies. They're not just fighting for top 10s. These are 2 Cup champions, 2 playoff threats, and 2 drivers who absolutely cannot afford to be taking each other out. Not now. Not when the championship race is this tight. And yet, here they are. 1 race, 1 track, 1 boiling point. Meanwhile, William Byron, same team, same equipment, just ran away with the win. No drama, no contact, just clean, calculated driving. While Elliott and Larson scrapped for track space and left rubber on each other's fenders, Byron built a 45-point lead in the standings. And that's where the real problem lies, not in the contact, but in the divide. Larson came into Iowa trailing Elliott by just 15 points. Now, he's dropped back by 45 behind Byron. That's not just a bad day. That's a brutal hit in a playoff race where every single point counts. But this isn't just about standings. It's about trust. Larson's radio outburst wasn't just about getting bumped. It was about being tired. Tired of giving space. Tired of being the good teammate. And getting nothing back. The message was clear. He's done playing nice. Elliott, for his part, didn't fire back. He kept his radio mostly silent. He didn't retaliate on track. He didn't respond to the drama. He just kept his head down, raced his race, and quietly finished 14th. But silence doesn't mean peace, because everyone saw what happened, and everyone knows this isn't over. Next up, Watkins Glen, a tight, twisty road course where racing room is even harder to find. And guess who are 2 of the best road course racers in the sport? Larson and Elliott. So buckle up, because we could be heading for round 2. And this time, it might not end in just radio rage. The cracks are growing inside Hendrick Motorsports. The team can't afford infighting, not with the playoffs this close. But if Iowa proved anything, it's that these 2 aren't on the same page anymore. They're on a collision course. And the next time they tangle, it might not just be words flying over the radio. It could be fenders, tempers, and maybe even the championship. So what do you think? Can Larson and Elliott fix this before it blows up the whole season? Or are we about to witness one of the most dramatic teammate feuds in NASCAR history? Because this isn't just a racing story. This is a civil war, and it's only getting started.